preparation phase for the windshield wiper forehand is the same as the traditional or the classic forehand. But let's just break it down into the lower body and the upper body. So overall, you want a lean, leverage, and a load. So let's first address the lower body. So we had the ready position earlier. Now let's address what the lower body needs to do. Okay? So what we'll address now is we'll have Greg use a swivel chair. So Greg, let's have you here. Wide base like we did before, athletic position. Okay, so his right foot is the load leg. This is the leverage leg. So go ahead and load and leverage. See that? Right there. So right there and just the toe on the ground. Just the toe on the ground, good. Right there, just the toe.
So if you were to stand up, basically all the weight is on his
all the weight's
right
on there.
leg.
Try to relax. There you go, ready? So that's the sensation. So ready position and go. So the swivel chair is a good sensation to get the hang of the actual coiling and the uncoiling. Okay. So that'd be the first sensation. Then what we could do with Greg then is for him to get the feeling of the rotation is we can use an unstrung racket and I'll toss it to him and he'll get the feel of getting the use of the body. There you go. And what's nice about the unstrung racket is he's really getting the feeling of how the legs move. So that's the lower body. And once he gets the hang of that, we can switch it with the strung racket and we do the same thing. Greg, how's it feeling?
Good.
What do you mean by good? What are you feeling?
Feels balanced.
Feel balanced?
Yep.
How's the rotation and the preparation?
It seems to be in sync with my balance.
And a drill like this, I think, would be particularly good for players who tend to hit all arm, which is a real big problem for many players. So this one's really emphasizing using the body to do most of the swinging for you versus the arm.
All right, so right now, correct, but this is just addressing the legs. You'll see when we put everything together. So the next sequence.
Getting ahead of myself.
No worries, I like that, but that's you, Will. Ready? So come on up, Greg. So the next sequence now, so Greg's gotten the hang of his lower body. Right, the next sequence now is for him to get the hang of the upper body. So he's going to form an X. You got the X right there. Okay? So this is the upper body now, and Greg is going to rotate. See that? So he's getting used to the rotation. So then you can, and again, ready, Greg? Getting used to the X. See that? Go again. Again, please. Right. Then the next progression would be, Greg will form an X. This is his racket. Okay? He'll form an X right there. See the X? Let's form the X right there. So go ahead and rotate, Greg, and swing forward too. And again, ready? And again, ready? Right. Let's trade rackets, Greg. Let's have you using this. So let's do the unstrung racket again. So it's getting the feeling of the X. And I'm going to toss and let's take a look. Ready? So he's really getting used to, so as you said earlier, Will, he's now using the entire body to get the hang of it. And again. Right. Once again, the unstrung racket gives him a great feeling of how to use it. Next progression, Greg.
Well, let me stop for a second. And one of the things, Greg, if I could just take your place for a second, just let me have the strong one. Actually, I'll take both of yours. Okay. One of the things benefits of this, I just want to emphasize for the folks watching, and correct me if I'm wrong, Faisal, is when you do this with the X, the tendency, if we weren't using the left arm here, with a lot of people who have arm forehands, is this would happen.
Correct.
And you wouldn't get any upper body.
Correct.
So by having this one as the X here, you're forcing the entire turn.
Forcing the turn, correct, using the non-dominant hand.
Yeah, exactly.
And exactly.
So you don't get one of these instead, and then sometimes you get the alligator arm forehand.
Exactly. So that's a perfect way to use the non-dominant hand. Okay. Right. So the next progression then would be, Greg, let's have you use your strung racket and take a swing at those. So there you go, ready? So
hang on, we might want to let Adam slowly transition out of the way.
And once again, as you said, we'll notice how the non-dominant hand is actually on the hitting side. See, that's getting used to the turn. So that's the upper body. So we did the lower body. Now we're doing the upper body, yes? Then we put it together, and he's now going to be, so Greg, let's have you sitting down in the swivel chair. and doing the X. So now we incorporating both the lower body and the upper body. Let's take a look. Ready? And Will, notice as you said earlier, look at how I was using the entire body. Once again, this would be the preparation for the windshield wiper or the classic forehand. Either one. So this is a framework. Now, Greg, let's have you take away the unstrung racket. Now imagine you have the racket in your hand. So now get used to the feeling. Ready? There you go. And again. Good. And the swivel chair, he's forced to stay low. When we spoke about the Ferrari, the sports car, he's being low. All right, Greg?
And there's a ton, Greg is hitting with a ton of topspin, and the thing that I'm really taking away watching this is how compact the backswing is, and he's not sort of overdoing it. A lot of times when you see players trying to hit with more topspin, you start to get these huge backswings and a big emphasis on the racket versus the legs and the body, which is actually really the driver of...
Which is really the core.
Yeah,
the spring.
exactly.
Right. So notice, like you said earlier, by keeping the elbow out, what have you done to the backswing? Short and wide, and now you're using the body. Right. Now, Greg, next progression. Could you get up, please? Thank you. Right. Let's have you, imagine you're on the swivel chair, so stay low and get the same sensation. So now he can equate to the swivel chair and the X.
Yeah, that's great topspin.
See that? We're talking topspin. We haven't begun with the swing path. Imagine once we do work on the topspin. So there you have it, the progression or the exercise sequence to training the preparation phase.
Great racket head speed with, again, a very compact backswing.
Correct. So that's your progression for the preparation phase.